We're going to give you guys a decision-making framework tonight, which will help with all major decisions. Like this stuff is pure gold. It is so, so important because I wouldn't say every day we're making big decisions. Every day we're making lots of decisions and lots of choices, and those are directing our lives. But very frequently we're making life-altering decisions, and we all could be better at making decisions.
Well,
because sometimes we don't have any framework for making a decision. We're just like, oh, what should I do? I feel like doing this. Let's just do that. And we don't think through thoroughly, like, let's be really, really good at making decisions that affect our families.
Greg and I often talk about one of the things we see most commonly is people's lack of decision-making skills.
Yep.
And we have learned that being able to be really good at making decisions is one of the most important superpowers you can have. Like, legit, I'm not trying to exaggerate this. Like, this is really true. You get really good at making decisions, your family gets better, your marriage gets better, your life gets better, your finances get better. Because one of the things we often see holding people back is simply they don't know how to make decisions. We have learned through lots of experience, because we've had to make tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of decisions, big and small. That's one of the things about travel that's so amazing. It requires you to make constant decisions about things. But the more decisions you make, the better you get at making decisions. The better you get at making decisions, the faster you can make decisions, and the quicker you're able to resolve problems. Many times people can't resolve their problems because they don't know how to make decisions.
Anybody here get decision fatigue sometimes? You're just like, I'm done. I'm done making choices. I'm done making decisions. I'm checking out. Anybody here just avoid decisions? Anybody slip into that? You're like, you know what? I'm just going to avoid this. And what happens, I see it often, is not deciding is actually a decision. And they think, I just won't decide on this. I'm going to let this sit because I don't know what to do. Or maybe you're afraid of making the wrong decision, so you don't decide, or you don't want the responsibility of it in case it is wrong. And so you avoid it. And so there's a lot of decision avoidance as well, right? Okay, here we go. Ready? I'm just going to throw down a few things here that can be a framework if you're taking notes or just want to listen and kind of let this kind of permeate. So every time you need to think through a big decision for yourself or your family, you can use these kind of frameworks. So number one is future identity. And I thought of this immediately. So basically, all you do here is I'm going to read the statement. You just think about it and rate yourself 1 to 10. Is this goal or activity relevant to my future identity, to how I see myself and what I see myself doing over the long term in the future? Boom. Just that one question is like, wait a minute, is this thing I'm about to do, is it aligned with how I see myself in the future? My identity of who I want to be as my best self. That right there will eliminate so many potential opportunities because you're like, no, it's taking me down the wrong path.
So connected to the conversation I had with my daughter today, I told her there was at least 2 times in our journey when Greg was offered a job that earned a base salary of $100,000 a year. Plus commissions, plus bonuses, plus shoe allowance, plus all the things.
I mean, everything, a truck, a fuel allowance, like a briefcase, a computer. I mean, it was all the bells and whistles.
At least 2 different times. But we had already decided years before that we wanted to figure out how to travel full-time as a family. That was basically our goal. We had no idea if it was possible. We had no idea how to do it. We just said, we want to be able to travel full-time as a family or live abroad, however you wanted to define it. But we didn't know if we could do it. We didn't know if that was a realistic thing, especially since this was like 2007, 2008, crash, hello, real estate market, everything crashing. We didn't know if it was possible. But these 2 separate times that he was offered these jobs, Both times we turned them down because we said, will this help us be able to travel full time as a family? And of course, the answer was no. So we turned it down. That's what that means to me. Does this goal, does this opportunity align with my future identity? Our identity was we are a full-time traveling family. Does this align with it? No. That means I'm turning it down.
So it was a hard decision.
Yeah.
And we were able to make hard decisions because we were very clear about our future identity.
I think it's relevant to point out that just because we turned it down doesn't mean everything was then rainbows and unicorns and we
figured it out. It was terrible.
Blah, blah, blah. No, it was hard for a long time. Like we floundered trying to figure it out. But in the long term, we now earn significantly more than that, having done our own thing. So
sweet.
The payoff long term was definitely worth that sacrifice.
So okay. I want to point out that these first three, I call them showstoppers. So like they are showstoppers. So if an opportunity comes along and it is not anywhere aligned with your future identity of where you're going and who you want to be, deal breaker. It's a showstopper. People were like, they can hold out the golden, the bling bling. It's all this. It's so great and all this stuff. And you're like, yeah, but it literally has nothing to do with who I see myself as my best self becoming. Don't do it. It's a showstopper. Next, intrinsic value. Is this goal or activity or opportunity something that I'm passionate about, that I would enjoy doing, I'd feel proud about, I sense contributes meaningfully? Would I do this regardless of the money, status, recognition, or power? Like, is it really intrinsic? Is it meaningful? Is it purposeful? Is it part of your contribution to the world, part of the song that you were born to sing? If it's trivial and fluffy and frivolous, if it doesn't align with your core values,
if it's something you would hate to do,
or what I tell people when I'm saying, people often ask me like about starting a business, and I'm like, the very first thing is it cannot violate your conscience. So if Coca-Cola came to me and offered me like a gigantic salary and all these benefits and the whole platter, I couldn't do it just as a matter of my conscience. I think soda is liquid poison. So I'm like, I'm not gonna sell this to people. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Killing people, killing innocent people. So there's no way I could do it, right? So for me, there was no intrinsic value there. Because I'm not like, oh, this is meaningful. I'm really contributing. I'm making a difference. I'm doing something that matters. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter at all. And it's actually harming people. So showstopper. Next is utilitarian value. Is this goal or opportunity, activity something that will lead to a useful outcome for me? Is this basically, I was asking one of my clients this today, is this opportunity, because he was offered a huge opportunity, the golden handcuffs again.
That's what we call them.
He was offered an amazing opportunity.
The one company?
Yep.
Ooh.
Wow. I mean, they know how to bring out the carrot and woo-wee. And so I said, and I asked him this, will this lead to a useful outcome? Will I get something useful in my life out of doing this? Will this help me get to where I want to go?